Hello, my name is Reggie Wallace. I go by Reggie. That's what pretty much everybody knows me as. But I just truly just want to just give you my brief overview on my hell experience and what happened to me in 2019. Uh, it was, I guess I'll start off, well, with my age. I'm 46. I'll be 47 this year. And I was born and raised in Fresno, California. After graduating and leaving here, I went on and, basketball and college and the whole nine. And, life just, I had, from being raised in a Christian home, my mother and my grandmother, faithful, just straight Pentecostal, just Holy Spirit filled church that we was raised in, and it was just nothing short of what a child should have had. I do understand that this is my health testimony, but along just with my testimony period, there is a number of things that were being devised to lead me into a world of deep, dark, hellish sin that could have just really just turned and kept me in a world just this whirlpool of Satan's hand. And I truly thank God for loving me enough and having enough mercy on my soul to be able to call me out of darkness into his marvelous light. Because if it had not been for his grace and his mercy, I would not be able to share or witness, not even share. I would not be able to. I wouldn't be talking to you right now because I should have been dead and left in my transgressions and left in my sins. But this beautiful, wonderful God that we serve, He loved enough of me to keep me. And I don't have enough lips. I don't have enough tongues to be able to say how thankful and how grateful I am for what God has done in my life and for the things that he's pulled me out of and how he has saved me. I'm truly, truly thankful. I'm truly thankful. And I want to thank you for reaching out and being just so prompt and just a wonderful sister. I just truly, truly, truly appreciate you, Miss Julie. I really, really do. This was now, as being in ministry, this whole process is a lot easier, even though the fact that I didn't intend to ever seek out to put myself or engage in a large platform. Far as when it came to ministry, I street preach. I am a member of a fellowship here in Fresno, California, which is Praise Church. Pastor Kevin Persons, wonderful, wonderful man of God, wonderful leader. We have a wonderful church home here in Fresno, California, which I absolutely adore and love. I had stayed away from what I used to call them the commercial Christian churches, because I had. Once I got saved, I got church hurt for the very first time, but that's a whole nother testimony. So we won't even touch on that right now. But I do thank my church home, my official church home, which is Praise Church here in Fresno, California. And so I do want to just thank them for everything that they've been. So here we go. So 2019, real, it was a dark period where you know, it was it was so dark to where I I knew the demonic realm that I was dancing in every single day, but yet it was I was accepting the fact that I knew that this demonic realm that I danced in, that like I was I was okay with it, you know. Um, so I know you told me only give you, 5 to 15 minutes, so I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overshoot this, so I'm just gonna just jump right into it. So what ended up happening was that at this at the at the point of impact, I had four very, very strong visits into hell. And the the first encounter starts in my uncle's garage. I was staying with him at the time when this happened. Me and him were working at the Fresno Fairgrounds, and so um, I was transitioning into leaving my dad's house to go stay with my uncle. And so me and my dad, we just had a really, really big fight. And so my uncle was like, "It's cool." He was like, just come stay here. He was like, "But you can't sleep in the house, but you can sleep in the garage." And I was like, you know what? At this time, I really didn't care, because I was so, to me, I was so underneath the pavement that I really didn't care. It was a number of places that I probably could have went, but I chose, I chose to go stay with him at this present time. Now, mind you, um, my uncle at this time, he was going through uh, an emotionally spiritual moment too at the same time, but he wasn't one of these men to really share how dark of an entity that he was under at the present moment. And I had spent so many years out in the world that I wasn't really willing to express or explain to anybody what was really happening. So when I went to go stay with my uncle, as I'm living in the garage, so the first night that this encounter that I had, um, so let me digress just a tad bit. Um, so I had been um, a drug addict for ooh, so many years. I started smoking pot in high school. I want to say right around my sophomore year. I think it was my sophomore year, which was 1993, 94, and you know I carried on smoking weed all the way up until uh, clearly up until through high school, all the way through high school, all the way through college. And then, in high school, you don't think, my grandmother, she always had told me, she said, "Son, this dope that y'all smoke." My grandma, she called weed dope, but we didn't like that word because it made us feel like, whether we was crackheads or something. So she said, "This dope that y'all smoke is the gateway. It's the gateway. It's the gateway to the rest of the dope that you would use in your life. And you don't want to start that." We used to laugh at her. We thought it was funny. Like, grandmother called it dope. So anyways, so I smoked weed all the way through high school. And then around college, I started doing ecstasy pills. Then slightly after that, started taking mushrooms. And then from mushrooms, went to acid. From acid, next thing you know, next thing I'm dabbling with smoking sherm. And so and I was, and I was like periodically. It wasn't all the time, but by this time that I had my trip to hell, I I was a full blown meth, cocaine addicted, out of control dope head, without a doubt. Alcoholic, just I was a mess. I was an absolute wreck. So 2019, so my first trip. So me and my uncle, you know, we were smoking like two, three. We were smoking Sherm all day long, you know, and most people just like embalming fluid is just like one of the most. I would tell anybody like it's the absolute corridor to hell. Like if you want to go to hell, smoke some Sherm and you can go to hell instantly because it changes your whole entire molecular structure and you cannot differentiate, you know, from real life to the spiritual world. You just can't because this is how far that this drug takes you. So at this first night, you know, I wake up and I see myself laying on the floor in the garage, but the garage is this tomb, this dark, scary place, and I'm wigging out because I'm looking at myself on the floor laying in the garage sleep, but I see myself encapsulated in this rocky tomb. That was absolutely horrifying and I can't explain it. So I closed my eyes, and as I closed my eyes, when I opened up my eyes, I was encased in the floor and there was these sharp rocks, this like metal, but it was brimstone, and I knew it. And in this tomb there were billions and millions of people, and I was on the floor, but my body was the brimstone, and I remember trying to lift my head up, and as I was lifting my head up, I really couldn't move because I was in kind of this state of paralysis, and I'm just gonna get through just this first part of hell that I was in, and I remember the tomb being one of the scariest places that I've ever visited, that I just can't really explain the fear that this tomb held. But these rocks, they were so sharp, and our bodies, my body was the rock. We were the tomb, and there were these bodies. They were overhead, and they were on the walls, and everybody was. There was this scream. There was this cry. There was this perverse language that was being uttered all in one, and you could even hear these the demons in the backfield, but it was all mixed in, and every time a cry, and I was crying because I'm trying to lift my face up, and I'm trying to see what's going on because I could just kind of see in front of me, but I'm kind of glued like this, and my hand was like this, and I look over like this, and there was another guy next to me, and his mouth was deformed, and there was teeth, and his tongue was hanging out blood, and it was like it wasn't blood, but it appeared to be blood, but the smell was unreal. I knew that this place, I knew that this was hell because the one thing that came to my mind instantaneously was that God isn't here. That's when I was overtaken by my fear. That's what kept replaying over and over in my head, was that God ain't here. He ain't here, and I don't know how to find him. And I know I can't find him. You know, I've heard so many testimonies about hell. And forgive me, I'm sorry. But you know, The most horrible, the most fearful thing is the disconnect of Christ. It's the disconnect. It's the disconnect. Because when you go to hell, you feel it. You know it. You know that you'll never get to ask God for forgiveness. You feel the disconnect from Jesus Christ. And you know that place that you in, you'll never get to feel that ever again. You'll never get to see it. And if somebody was to ask me what's the scariest part about hell, it's that. The disconnect from Jesus Christ. So, this sulfur brimstone tune that I was in, I'm sorry I went over the 15 minutes, Miss Julie. I'm sorry. I do apologize. This was the very first part of my hell experience, and this place, it went on forever and ever and ever, and it was unbelievable. But all I can say is I thank God for what He did by giving me this ultimate experience, by allowing me to transcend out of my body and being able to go to hell. I thank Him for it. I would say that, like after my experiences of going to hell, I had a come to Jesus moment and I got saved right away, but it didn't work like that. I had to really travel down through some real ugly places, and it had to get even more dark, you know what I'm saying? After that, even the overdose, to get my attention. But I'm so thankful and I'm so blessed that he did what he did, because he had to. And God deals with everybody differently, and He had to deal with Reggie Wallace in a real specific way to get my attention. But now today I am a follower and a servant and a humble husband and a servant of the Lord and Jesus Christ. You can believe that. So I'll leave you with this, Miss Julie. I apologize about going over my 15 minutes. I truly do. But I pray to God that this reaches you, and you can reach back out to me, and we can sit down and we can talk, because I would love to be able to testify upon your show. So I thank you, and I truly will pray for you tonight and the success of your show. Thank you very much. God bless you, my sister.